We are back.
Yay.
Hello.
Yay.
And we are talking today, we're continuing the conversation about the 2025 trends. So we're going to dive deep into the wild world of trends, hashtags and hype circles.
Yeah.
So discover the next best thing before it fizzles out because things change fast.
Absolutely.
Welcome to the city, Mastermind City, a city filled with endless masterminds and limitless possibilities.
And it includes live coaching, Q&As, hot seats, and more.
Hi, I'm Fay Chappell.
And I'm Stacy Maynard, and this is the Hot Topics of the Week, where we bring you a vibrant, uplifting, and inspiring conversation focused on how you can make a lasting impact for yourself and for your business.
For us, this is more than just a business. It's a professional community. So if you're ready to go, you're in the right place. Welcome to the city.
Today, again, we're talking about the Entrepreneur Survival Guide for the next 3 more podcasts. We did one last week, and we are still going forward. I'm Faye.
And I'm Stacy, your trusty co-host. Trend something.
Trend spotter or trend
I was
cynic?
I don't know. Maybe
Trend spotter or trend cynic?
I don't know. And the occasional hype beast.
So last episode, we talked about the AI overlords, right? And how that we might have to worry about them. But we also gave you all those strategies and how to move forward. I love AI, and I hope you guys listen. But today we're really venturing into the world of hype and the trends and what you think you're supposed to be doing.
Absolutely. Because in 2025, everything is a trend these days, right? Because everything is just changing so fast, right? So if you've got this relic gathering dust in your garage, remember the hoverboard?
Yeah.
That was kind of fun, right? But it never really hovered.
No,
that was the bad
everybody
thing.
wanted one, but they were really expensive.
They were really, but they were kind of cool.
Yeah. So we're going to help you really look at those trending topics and see, is that a golden goose? Or is it just some really ugly animal with a fancy hat?
Hang on a second. Geese are terrifying.
I know. Cobra chickens.
Yeah, that's what they're called. Exactly.
So let's get started.
All right. So if you want to jump in the next best thing, you're not sure what it is, or maybe it's just a passing fad, that's what we're here for.
Yeah.
So let's get started on what's best for 2025.
Okay, let's start with a big one, which is the metaverse and the monetization of the metaverse, right? Because everyone is building virtual lands and people are talking about digital properties, but is it really worth shelling out true dollars for one of these pixelated mansions that we see on screen?
Okay, I'm going to show my age here, but do you remember the pet rocks?
Yeah.
Did you have one?
I did.
I did, and I thought I was the only one, but they were really cool, right? They were a big deal. So just think of that world, and now we're in this world, which is insane.
Yeah, so it could be the same thing. So keep that in mind when you say it's just a fad. It could actually be a really important trend. It could be that golden goose. So next on the hype train, I think biotech startups, that's a huge one, right? Heard all about modifying genes and regenerative medicine. You name it. It's huge. It's exciting. It could save lives. It could take wrinkles off your face. It could create glow-in-the-dark pets, you name it. But biotech startups are hot. If you are an investor, way to go.
Absolutely. So can I get a glow-in-the-dark corgi?
Can you get a different one?
I'm in. I love them. They're so cute. Come on. Maybe the rest of the world's not ready.
No, probably not. But it would be kind of cool because then you don't have to pick up any poop.
That's true.
And then there's virtual influencers. You guys have all seen them, right? They're animated, they're AI generated personalities, and they're racking up millions of followers. And they're really hard to tell them apart from real people now.
Yeah, it's
so
true.
They might be the future of marketing, right? We might just be really bored with humans and we're like, we just want to see AI generated people. Not sure, but keep it in mind, because if you need an influencer, maybe you just make a virtual.
And if I have to watch another real life influencer vacation vlog, I might actually embrace the AI models. Sure. I'm good.
Yeah,
I'm actually excited for them.
And then finally, I think I'd like to talk about space tourism, right?
Come on, space tourism.
Because commercial flights to low Earth orbit are actually going to take place. So it's not just if you're a millionaire, it might happen in your lifetime. So is there a business opportunity for the rest of us? I don't know what it is, but it is going to happen. So how can you tag into that to start making money.
I would be in. Okay, so what if the in-flight meal cost less than my mortgage payment? That would be cool. Then I'd be in. Yeah. Then I'd be in, because those are crazy and they're not very good. So make the food good if you're going to take me to space.
Yeah. We're really looking at for the next big thing, right? These are 4 areas that are really top contenders, right? But it's tricky because some will be massive hits and others might just fizzle out. So we're not really sure, but we're trying to point them out so you can keep your eyes on the prize.
Absolutely. Okay, so let's outline the 10 things or the 10 steps to kind of evaluate these trends, right? Because they're not going away; they're just growing and evolving. So let's figure what those are.
Yeah, let's separate that hype from real opportunities, because some of them are pie in the sky, which are fun to talk about, but we're here to tell you what might actually work.
So there is a line between groundbreaking and gimmicky, right? So we do need to know what that is, and it can be a really thin line too. So I think the first thing that we need to do is check the source.
Yeah, is the hype coming from a reputable analyst, right? Or is it from a teenager on TikTok that's saying, hey, these chips are really great, why don't you invest in them?
Both could be valid.
Okay.
But do your homework. That's a big one, right? Because credible news outlets, well-known industry experts, and established research firms are way more reliable than the guy that's eating the chips. Yeah, just saying.
But be careful, because we really have to look out for fake news now.
Yeah.
So number 2 is researching the funding and the backers, right? Follow the money trail, right? Who's investing? If there's major VCs and multinational companies and they're throwing down serious cash, there might be substance to that hype.
On the flip side, if it's a lonely Kickstarter with tumbleweeds in the comment section, maybe do a hard pass on that one. And use analytics, right? Tools, use the trend analytic tools.
Yeah, tools like Google Trends, Trend Hunter, any of those. There's one that's called Exploding Topics, which is really cool. And you can see what's rising in search volume. That's really a key to let you know if this might be coming up for you.
And if you see a steady climb, then it might be promising. You might want to look at it a little bit deeper. If it's one that just has a random spike, be careful of that, right? It might be just a fluke that it kind of got a lot of attention kind of one day, and then it went back down. You need that consistency because you don't want that, boom, it went up in that like 15 seconds because they posted a cat viral video, but then they came back down. So just watch for those kind of stuff too.
Yeah, and assess that market. The market size, the market growth. If it's this tiny little teeny market, you may have trouble to be able to scale it, right? Unless you can think that it might blow up, because you sometimes never know what's going to blow up. But obviously you want to keep track of, do you think this has legs?
And think about the gadgets, right? You don't want to be stuck in your warehouse with a whole bunch of gadgets that didn't sell, right? Because there's no actual customer demand. Do you remember fidget spinners?
I still have them. I love them.
They were great.
But it was hard to buy them.
They were, absolutely.
So don't forget to network with industry experts, right? Join some of those channels that we talked about earlier, which are Slack channels or LinkedIn groups or Discord servers for those of you who are cooler and know how to use Discord. Whatever the cool kids are doing this day, that's what you want to eavesdrop on, and make sure you understand and ask them questions. Yeah. I was talking last week when we were doing a conference that I was on a 3-day online conference about blockchain, and I had no idea what they were talking about. But I wanted to make sure I was part of that conversation, because when it does come up, maybe I'll have some knowledge.
And they know what they're talking about, right? Experts have a great sense of what's hot, what's not, what's going to take off, and what's not. And you know what? They have great connections, and you may end up in a great conversation with somebody about a topic that you may not know a lot about. You're probably going to learn something, right? Which is really cool. And they have a great way of staying on top of things.
Yeah. The other thing too is make sure that you really focus, if you are talking about a new product, on a prototype, and you want to test it quickly, right? Don't go into I got an idea, I'm going to make this massive product line, because you want to create really what we call MVP, which is a minimum viable product, right? To see if there's actual demand. So even for those of you on e-commerce, don't go all in until you know you can sell a few.
Because, if nobody wants your glow-in-the-dark corgi or your VR hamster or whatever the case may be, it doesn't matter if nobody wants it. You may think it's really cool,
right?
But cut your losses early.
And check your competition. If big industry players are diving in, that's a really big green light, right? So it's a sign also that you could be devoured by those big guys. So be careful. There is you might have a great idea, and then one of the big multinationals comes out with their version, hard to really market against them.
David versus Goliath.
Yeah,
exactly. But sometimes you can out niche the big guys, right? So understand what they're doing. And if you can out niche them by going really deep, great. But sometimes you can't. So just know what they're doing and what they're saying out there for sure.
And we love ideas. We love to talk about all this stuff, but you do have to be careful because sometimes there are regulations, right? Governments love to regulate anything that seems fun or lucrative, like cryptos or drones or the latest eye cream. So make sure that you're paying attention to those regulations before you spend a lot of money in investing.
Well, and that can happen with the trend, right? Like all of a sudden there's a trend and then everyone kind of jumps on the bandwagon of that trend and they start to create all this stuff. But a regulation can clamp down on that trend faster than you can say anything else. So really important not to get on that bandwagon because the bandwagon might be gone before you have time to even create that product.
Yeah. And watch customer behaviors, not just hype, right? Real money is what is the measure, right? If people actually are buying stuff, that's the cool part, right? That's, it's going to work. Don't be fooled by those big talkers on TikTok who never pull money out of their wallet, right? And they talk about the latest trend, but they don't actually do it. They're just getting something free to promote. You need to make sure that customers are actually buying it.
And if the hype doesn't translate into sales, sorry, it's not a business, right? There's a difference between a business and a passing trend. And if it's not money in your pocket and they're not actually buying, it's probably just a passing fancy.
Yeah. And, these days, it's interesting because these days you have to, we hate this word, but you have to pivot.
It's a word,
right? You have to pivot because you have to keep your options open. The trends change overnight, and what could be a trend today might be a dud tomorrow. Have you ever been on TikTok and you see the latest trending dance or video and you see it in your feed like constantly for 2 days? And then you look up and you go, what happened to that? It vanished.
Well, it's funny you said that because there was somebody who said, oh, remember this trend from a year ago? And I went, oh my goodness, I do remember that trend. I couldn't believe it was gone because I just had stopped seeing it in the feed, but it was gone. And that's the thing. Flexibility is everything, right? In 2025, one day we're doing this, right? One day we're living in the metaverse. And the next day, have you seen this? A lot of people are crocheting.
Yeah,
I've seen a lot of crocheting animals and they're being sold, right? You never know what's going to be in. So be prepared for the trend that's happening right now to pivot to what's happening next.
Yeah, we love crocheting. I love crocheting. I love these.
Yeah, I know, right? So all we're saying is keep your mind open, right? Keep your mind open, be flexible, think about, watch, stay on top of things. But maybe just don't sell your grandmother's antique store just yet.
Yeah, because those things might be,
coming back.
The vintage stores are cool right now, so it's the way to go. So we told you about all of that. Now we want to talk a little bit about tools and resources, right? We want to talk about specifically so that you can sort through the noise. We like to talk about tools.
Yep.
It is very important. We both love tech so much. So let's tell them about some of the things that they should be looking at.
Well, there is a lot of noise in 2025, right? We basically live in an echo chamber of opinions and overly confident tweets. It's crazy. So if you think about the trend intelligence, let's just say, go for tools like Sprout Social, BuzzSumo. Social listening is really important to be able to feed through everything, and they can really minimize that stuff for you. Your competitive analysis, like SimilarWeb or
SimilarWeb.
You can really see where that web traffic is flowing, which is really important to try to cut through that noise. And then think about community platforms. This is one of my favorites, Reddit. Amazing. Like literally every time I have a question or I want to know something, I dive in there because they know what they're talking about. They get you the answers and they can answer those questions for you. And we talked before about Discord. I love Discord. I will admit, I haven't dived as deep into it as I would like, but there is a lot of really niche servers on Discord where they like to talk about very specific topics and they are talking in real time. So if you have not dived into Discord, it might be something to go to as well. And then one more community platform that I can bring to your attention is ours. We have a hub and we have lots of information in there and we talk about different topics as well.
Yeah. And if you're afraid of Reddit or Discord, you can always go to social platforms. They still exist like LinkedIn or Twitter, or what I like to call Twix, because we don't really know what it's called. And that will tell you about thought leadership and quick takes from industry experts. Again, there are so many platforms and you have to be careful because they're all slanted. As we know who owns Twix. We know who, Blue Social is very different. And then there's obviously some of the other ones we're not going to mention because we don't want to give them publicity. But there's a lot of other ones. So again, you don't have to jump into Reddit because you might be afraid of it. Just go on to any social media feed.
Absolutely. But just remember, if you're going onto LinkedIn or if you're going onto any other social media platform, verify who you're listening to, right? Mm-hmm. That's, again, that checking your sources concept. Because anybody can put, visionary guru in their feed or in their LinkedIn headline, but that doesn't mean they actually know what they're talking about, right? Anybody can go to AI and grab all the buzzwords that are really current right now. So really make sure that you verify who that is that you're listening to so that you know that they're a real person.
Yeah, visionary guru. I like that because that essentially it's a code for I have opinions and I'm not afraid to share them with you, even though I have no data to back it up. So be very, very careful, again, who you're listening to. And you have to be careful that you're not listening to AI because a lot of people that you've seen in social media have been taken over. People have been integrating AI into their voice and face. And so you don't even know that it's not that person talking about it. If you are well versed in AI, which we keep hoping you start doing, you will be able to spot it.
And it's okay if we came up with the information that we're talking about, like today, and then we reworded it in our own voice, and that voice is AI, that's okay. Right. It's still our thoughts, our concepts, our information, our voices that we're putting out there. So that's okay. There's just some lines where people are taking full information and putting it out there. So, okay, so we are going to close it out today. We have talked about a lot of things. We've talked about the hype topics for 2025. We've given you 10 steps for emerging trends so that you're not caught off guard with chasing fads. And there are the tools to help you out to save your time and probably keep a few brain cells in the process.
Yeah. So again, next week we're going to go to more. And next week we're talking about everything remote. So remote work essentially 2.0 because offices are so 2019 now, right? And it goes back and forth. Sometimes we're saying it's going to go back and sometimes we're not. I don't think it's coming back.
No, and you know what? I like rolling out of bed and jumping on that meat call because it's really good. And you know what? I still wear my pajamas.
Yeah, too much information, Stacy. I'm not sure if I want to know that. But we are going to cover managing remote teams, productivity hacks, and so much more next week.
All right. So thanks for tuning in. Now go forth, invest wisely with your time, and no pressure.
Yeah, and remember, it's only a fad if it fails, right? So keep your eyes open and your wallet guarded because you might be able to benefit from everything coming your way.
Thanks for joining us here at the Mastermind City. You don't have to say goodbye because there are other ways that you can join us. If you like what you've heard today, then join our professional networking community, and it's absolutely free, where you can be part of our global community to build relationships, grow your business, and access live training, or learn more about how you can get year-round access to not only us, but to all our endless masterminds. So just go to themastermind.city and we'll see you in the city.